What makes an avoidant person shift from withdrawn to genuinely respectful towards someone? People with avoidant attachment patterns typically maintain strict emotional boundaries and seem indifferent to connection. But when they encounter certain individuals, their entire demeanor shifts into something that looks like actual respect. Stay with me, because what triggers this shift completely contradicts what most dating advice tells you. There's an invisible ranking system happening in an avoidance mind that most people never realize exists. Within the first few interactions, they're mentally sorting you into categories: someone they can dismiss, someone neutral, or someone worth respecting. This happens automatically, not because they're judgmental jerks, but because their brain learned early on that emotional neediness equals danger. The second they pick up on someone wanting validation, needing reassurance, or trying too hard to connect, that person drops to the bottom tier. Once you're there, it's incredibly difficult to climb back up. This ranking has nothing to do with how attractive you are, how successful you are, or how charming you can be. It's entirely based on one thing: whether you seem emotionally self-sufficient or not. People who don't need the avoidance approval automatically rank higher in their mind. This sounds harsh, but it makes perfect sense when you understand what avoidants grew up experiencing. Most of them learned that getting close to people meant losing their freedom, dealing with overwhelming emotions, or facing disappointment. Their nervous system literally treats emotional neediness like a threat. When someone shows up radiating, "Please validate me," or "I need you to make me feel secure," alarms go off internally. The walls shoot up without them even thinking about it. But when they meet someone who seems totally fine on their own, who doesn't need anything from them, something completely different happens. No alarms, no walls, just curiosity and a weird kind of respect. Let me give you the practical steps for showing the kind of independence that actually earns their respect, because understanding this mentally doesn't help if you don't know how to apply it. Managing your own emotions without depending on them comes first. This means when you're feeling anxious, insecure, or upset about something, you handle it yourself or talk to friends instead of immediately turning to the avoidant for comfort. When you're worried about where the relationship is going, you sit with that worry instead of turning it into 10 text messages asking, "Are we okay?" They're watching how you deal with uncomfortable feelings. People who can calm themselves down without making it someone else's job immediately earn points. This doesn't mean fake happiness or pretending everything's perfect. It means you're capable of holding your own feelings without needing someone else to fix them for you. Keeping your own life active and full creates the second foundation. The people avoidants respect have their own friends, hobbies, goals, and plans that don't revolve around the relationship. Your calendar isn't wide open waiting for them to text. You're sometimes unavailable when they reach out because you're genuinely busy doing things that matter to you. This doesn't push them away like most people fear. It pulls them closer through respect. They see someone who values their own time and their own life as much as the avoidant values theirs. The key difference between this and playing games is authenticity. You're not pretending to be busy to seem desirable. You actually have a life you care about, and they get to be part of it rather than the entire focus of it. Setting boundaries and actually sticking to them forms the third piece, and this is where things get really interesting. Avoidants test boundaries constantly without even realizing they're doing it. They might cancel plans last minute, disappear for a few days, or pull back emotionally to see what you'll do. Most people fail this test by chasing, adjusting their standards, or getting emotional about it. That kills respect instantly. The people who pass simply hold their ground calmly. If plans get canceled without a good reason, you don't bend over backward to reschedule or send paragraphs about how disappointed you are. You just say, "Okay," and make other plans. If they go silent, you don't panic text them. You keep living your life. This sends a clear message. You have standards for how people treat you. And those standards don't disappear based on how much you like someone. Staying calm when they pull away becomes the fourth critical element. Most people panic when an avoidant creates distance. They text more, ask what's wrong, or try to force connection. This confirms exactly what the avoidant fears, that getting close means losing their freedom, and dealing with someone else's anxiety. But when you stay emotionally steady during their withdrawal, everything shifts. They notice that their need for space didn't create drama. It didn't result in guilt trips or desperate messages. You just remained stable, there but not suffocating, available but not needy. This calm presence tells their nervous system something important. This person is safe. They won't trap me. They won't punish me for needing space. They won't fall apart when I need time alone. The reason these specific qualities create respect connects directly to how avoidants see themselves. They grew up learning that needing people led to disappointment, that showing vulnerability created problems, and that depending on yourself was smarter than depending on others. They built their whole identity around being independent and self-sufficient. When they meet someone who operates the same way, it creates instant recognition. They see their own values reflected back at them. Independence, emotional stability, self-reliance. These are the things avoidants respect most about themselves. Seeing those same qualities in you triggers both respect and attraction at the same time. It's not about opposites attracting here, it's about equals recognizing each other. This creates a weird paradox that frustrates a lot of people. The more you chase their approval, the faster it disappears. The more you need their validation, the quicker they run. But the moment you genuinely stop needing those things, when you're actually okay whether they respect you or not, that's when everything changes. This isn't some manipulation trick or reverse psychology tactic. It's just how avoidants evaluate people. They respect others who occupy the same emotional space they do. Self-contained, independent, capable of connecting without becoming dependent. Trying to earn respect through pursuit, flexibility, or emotional intensity backfires completely because it proves you operate from neediness, which is the exact opposite of what they value. The testing behavior deserves more attention because recognizing these tests changes everything about how you respond. When an avoidant suddenly gets distant after things were going well, they're often unconsciously checking if you'll panic and chase. When they create conflict or push you away, they're testing whether you'll fight to keep them or respect their boundary. When they become flaky or cancel plans, they're seeing if you'll rearrange your whole life around their comfort or keep your own standards. These aren't calculated mind games, they're automatic protective behaviors driven by a deep fear of losing themselves in relationships. Passing these tests doesn't mean chasing harder or proving how committed you are. It means staying stable, keeping your boundaries, and remaining emotionally level no matter what they do. Something interesting happens when you consistently pass these tests over time. The avoidant starts to notice a pattern. Every time they pull back expecting you to chase, you don't. Every time they create distance expecting drama, you stay calm. Every time they test your boundaries expecting you to bend, you hold firm. This consistent pattern of non-reactive, boundaried behavior creates a new narrative in their mind. They begin to realize that their usual fears about connection might not apply with you. The typical outcomes they expect from getting close: loss of freedom, emotional overwhelm, someone falling apart, aren't happening. This realization doesn't happen overnight. It builds gradually through repeated experiences of you demonstrating emotional self-sufficiency. Each time you pass a test without even knowing you were being tested, you're adding evidence to their mental file that you're different from others they've encountered. The energy you bring to interactions matters more than most people realize. When you show up needing nothing from the avoidant, when your mood and self-worth aren't dependent on how they respond to you, it creates a completely different dynamic. You're not monitoring their every text for hidden meanings. You're not analyzing their behavior for signs of pulling away. You're not constantly checking whether they still like you. This freedom from need creates an energy that avoidants find incredibly attractive because it's the exact energy they try to cultivate themselves. They spend so much effort maintaining their independence and avoiding neediness that when they encounter someone who naturally embodies those qualities, it feels like meeting a rare species. Most people they meet want something from them: commitment, reassurance, more time, more emotion. But here's someone who wants nothing, who's complete on their own, who's simply enjoying the connection without grasping at it. The people who earn lasting respect from avoidance share one big thing in common. They're impossible to chase down, not because they're playing hard to get, but because they genuinely don't need to be chosen by anyone to feel good about themselves. Their self-worth doesn't depend on external validation. They have their own goals, passions, friendships, and ways of handling their emotions. When an avoidant withdraws, these people feel disappointed but not destroyed. When an avoidant acts inconsistent, they maintain their standards without getting bitter about it. Being unchasable sends a powerful message to the avoidant. This person won't lose themselves in the relationship. They won't become emotionally dependent. They won't need constant reassurance. And paradoxically, that makes them the safest people for an avoidant to actually get close to. Space means something completely different to avoidance than it does to most people. Where anxiously attached people experience space as rejection, and securely attached people see it as normal rhythm, avoidants experience space like oxygen. Without it, they feel like they're suffocating. With it, they can breathe and maybe even move closer. The people avoidants respect most get this instinctively. They don't interpret the avoidant's need for space as punishment or abandonment. They see it as information about how that person's nervous system works. When an avoidant says they need alone time or pulls back emotionally, respected people don't take it personally. They use that space for their own stuff, their own emotional recharge, their own life. This mutual respect for independence creates a dynamic where both people keep their individuality while choosing to connect, instead of losing themselves to maintain connection. Your relationship with yourself directly impacts how much respect you earn from an avoidant. If you have a rich internal world, strong sense of identity, and genuine enjoyment of your own company, it shows in everything you do. You're not bored when alone. You're not desperately seeking external stimulation or validation. You have thoughts, interests, and pursuits that fulfill you independent of any relationship. This self-relationship creates a foundation that avoidants recognize and respect immediately. They can sense when someone is complete versus when someone is looking for another person to complete them. People who enjoy their own company, who have developed themselves as interesting individuals with depth and substance, naturally attract avoidant respect because they embody the exact qualities avoidants prize most highly. Being honest without being needy forms another layer of respect-earning behavior. Avoidants actually value directness and honesty, but they run from emotional manipulation or hidden agendas. When you're clear about your needs, boundaries, or feelings without making them responsible for fixing everything, they respect that. Saying, "I prefer more regular communication," lands completely differently than "your inconsistency makes me anxious and you need to change." The first shows self-awareness and clear boundaries. The second shows neediness and an attempt to control their behavior. They respect people who know themselves clearly and communicate that knowledge without emotional drama or secret expectations. They lose respect for people who communicate needs as demands or use emotions as weapons. Respect disappears faster than it builds, and certain behaviors guarantee you'll lose it. Chasing after an avoidant when they create distance destroys respect immediately. This includes sending multiple texts when they've gone quiet, trying to have the talk about the relationship when they're pulling back, or any behavior that screams, "I need you to change your comfort level to calm my anxiety." Showing emotional dependency through constant need for reassurance, making them your main source of validation, or having emotional reactions that seem way too big for the situation will kill respect fast. Being inconsistent with your own boundaries teaches them your standards aren't real, which makes you unpredictable and therefore unsafe in their mind. Trying to change them, fix them, or heal their attachment issues positions you as someone who doesn't accept them as they are, which triggers massive resistance. The respect avoidants feel for emotionally independent people connects to something deeper than just attraction or compatibility. It connects to safety. They spent their early years learning that emotional closeness threatened their autonomy. Every relationship carries an unconscious question for them. Will this person consume my independence? Will they require me to abandon myself to keep this connection? When they meet someone who clearly won't do that, who demonstrates through consistent action that they value independence just as much, their nervous system actually relaxes. This relaxation opens up possibilities for real connection that chasing and neediness can never create. The avoidant starts wondering if maybe connection with this person wouldn't require giving up who they are. That wondering becomes the foundation for respect to grow into something more. There's a huge difference between earned respect and manufactured attraction that matters here. You can temporarily create attraction by chasing an avoidant, creating intensity, or triggering their fear of losing you. But you can't create respect through any of those tactics. Respect only grows from genuinely demonstrating the qualities avoidants value: independence, emotional control, consistency, and solid boundaries. Attraction without respect leads to toxic patterns where the avoidant feels both drawn to you and repelled by you at the same time. Respect without needy attraction creates the foundation for whatever healthy connection is possible between two people with different attachment styles. The goal isn't to manipulate an avoidant into respecting you, it's to actually become someone who naturally earns respect by being emotionally complete. One final element separates people who earn lasting respect: outcome independence. This means participating in the connection without being attached to any specific result. You're not working to make the avoidant commit, open up more, or change their attachment style. You're simply showing up as yourself, keeping your boundaries, living your complete life, and letting whatever happens happen naturally. This outcome independence communicates the ultimate respect-earning message. I'm whole without you, and I'm choosing to include you in my life from that wholeness instead of needing you to fill a gap. Avoidants can absolutely sense the difference between someone building their entire life around the relationship, hoping for specific results, and someone living their life while allowing the relationship to be one part of it. That second approach earns respect because it mirrors exactly how avoidants approach connection themselves. What makes an avoidant respect you most isn't any single behavior, communication trick, or strategy. It's the complete picture of who you are as an emotionally self-sufficient person. It's showing through consistent action that you value your independence, maintain your boundaries, regulate your own emotions, and live a full life that doesn't depend on their validation. It's passing their unconscious tests by staying stable and calm when they withdraw. It's being genuinely unchasable, not because you're playing games, but because you're actually whole on your own. This combination triggers something in their psychology that pursuit and intensity never can: the realization that you're safe to get close to because you won't swallow their identity in the process. That realization forms the basis of genuine respect, and from there, whatever real connection is possible between you can actually develop. If this matches your experience with avoidant people, drop a comment sharing what patterns you've noticed in your own interactions. Hit the like button if this gave you a perspective you haven't found in other videos, and subscribe for more content on attachment dynamics and relationship psychology that goes beyond surface-level advice. Thanks for watching.